everybody.
Hello, Mark.
How are you, Don?
Excellent.
Welcome to Bourbon Street. This is our first episode. How many times have you golfed this year?
12, I believe it is now.
Already?
It's a record for me.
And how many times have you invited me?
Have you ever seen you golf? Anyone?
Have I ever seen you?
No, when Mark and Don are gone, the mice will play.
Wow, who is that cranky guy? And that was before the Baltimore Ravens had some staffer give COVID to the whole team.
No, Don, what you have to understand is that this is what's driving me crazy, that the big box stores are open and they're taking away business from the small card shop or the small clothing shop.
I've heard a lot of conversation about the fact is, well, now we're a virtual universe. No, we're not. People want live physical contact.
We only inject 42,000 people a day right now. That's 909 days behind schedule.
Now, we've talked about some things that have gone well on International Women's Day. Why don't we talk about something that went up in flames? That was my cue for the Burger King images. NBA Top Shots. You can buy a LeBron dunk that you could see on YouTube, but packaged up in Top Shots. You know you're getting number 33,
Right.
100 or 1,000. It's like hockey cards. It is a collectible. Let's jump into our routine here. Thank you for making your second pinch hitting appearance for Don, who's on the injured reserve. Now tell me, you're going to be another quiz this week?
I think you're 1 for 9.
$6,000 people. You caught me dancing there. I didn't know the video was going to end so fast. 6,000 real people in a Liverpool warehouse. How's that make you feel, buddy? 1 year later, what's changed?
It's Friday, and I'll be having a beer tonight on a patio.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like golf, another place you haven't invited me, fucker.
You're not. You seriously, we need a video of you golfing for this. So I will take you golfing just so I can show anyone watching your golf prowess.
My patented split step putting stance. You love that, don't you?
You never see it before in real life.
You get the left foot out front, drop the putter down, so I can look straight down at the ball. You love it. I know it. Well, happy anniversary, brother.
I didn't know we were going to be a year together, but same to you.
Well, we haven't been together. That's actually the issue that I have. But hey, it's great to be kind of somewhat out of jail. What patio are you going to tonight?
I think just to walk down Yonge Street and probably see 4 or 5 of them.
Awesome. Well, enjoy your pub crawl. All right. So, you know what? I'm sure the discussion that's been on your mind, your client's mind, a lot of other people is like working from home, working from the office. So let's kick things off for Weekly Pulse.
Bloomberg out with a story yesterday, a nice little feature on employees who are deciding to quit their jobs rather than continue working from home.
They feel like, this was the quote, they feel like we're not working if they can't see us. It's a boomer power play. I mean, listen, I am somewhere in the middle on this, and I think at the end of the day, most employees will be as well. That the woman they quoted was sort of at the end of her rope after she had been called into the office for what ended up being a 6-minute meeting, and she had to find care for her kids in the meantime, et cetera, et cetera. But really, the point is here, there are benefits to being in person and seeing people in person. We see that over the holiday weekend. Why do people see each other in person and not just on Zoom? It works in a work setting as well as in a social setting. There are benefits. You know, we see the benefits of people wanting to be around other people. But that said, do you need to be there every day and all the time? For a lot of jobs, probably not.
So what are your thoughts, Mark, on that work from home, work from work?
I think from the beginning of time, human beings have needed to connect with human beings, whether that be at work, at play, or whatever. So the nice thing about this is when you've got to jam on something for a day or two and just put your head down, amazing. We can create flexible work types so you're avoiding commutes, or you and I want to talk to somebody in another continent. But my personal prediction, this is not a professional prediction, is that we're going to see a lot more in-person work than people imagine.
Excellent. Eric, you got the poll?
What are your thoughts?
So Yahoo did a poll. So
yeah.
so whoever answers, it's not a random poll. It's not but it's a poll and they publish it all the time. Would you quit your job if your employer no longer allowed you to work remotely? 49% said yes.
Right.
So is that representative? Who's motivated to answer the question? All those kinds of things. Do you believe it's 50%? I believe you got to ask the employers if they're going to ask you to come back, and I can guarantee a lot will ask you to come back. Will it be as much? Maybe not. So we're going to go through and test what your perceptions are. So which action would you consider doing if you can no longer work from home after the pandemic is over? So what percent thinks they'd change their jobs even if it made less money? 62% of Canadians. This was asked this week. 36% of Canadians or 8% of Canadians.
This is Canadians.
This is Canadians.
Well, I heard a great thing at a conference the other week, and of course, being me, I've already stolen it, put the MH3 brand to it. And they're calling this next period in time the era of the Great Resignation. And so we're seeing it everywhere. So I'm going to go with A, 62%.
8%. 500 people that are working answered that question. But the
Yahoo poll said 50%.
Because they're not talking to the people that are actually in the workforce. All the people that voted on the Yahoo poll are those people that want to work from home and will say, I'll resign.
Right.
So the point is, you need to ask the masses. Let's go to the next one, Eric. Which percent would seriously start looking for another job, which is different than take less money? 12%, 36, or 48%. They can't work at home any longer. What percent will seriously start looking for another job?
I'm going to go big. I'm going to go big twice. I'm going to go 48%.
And the reason we should start thinking about it is I've ranted about this a lot. Do not believe the press. The press is there to make headlines. The press is there to make us listen. They're full of shit. They really do not do proper research of representation. All they care about is a great soundbite. So let's go to the next one. You're doing well this time.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. And since my oldest son is in journalism school, I'm feeling pretty good. But,
So-
let's look at, there's a difference between journalism and sensationalism, hot headlines from the Yahoos of the world. So ask your question.
What percent do you think will be happy things are back to normal and or look forward to human connection?
I'm going to go 25%.
The fact is, just like you say, you started off, you didn't trust your instincts. You said, I'm in a world where I think human connection. But you're listening to the bullshit about everyone.
You're right. Sold me.
Everyone's going to quit because of it. And the point is, fear is the great motivator to do bad things. And the point there is, people are looking for a human connection. Just as you said, you're looking for a human connection, there's a value and they see the value in it. So let's go to the next one.
By the way, you and I usually talk to the marketers of the world, the properties, but I hope you're calling up real estate firms today and selling this, because this is gold.
This was we pulled it off this morning, actually, Mike and I. So how about be happy to see my
colleagues to make sales calls. Come on.
How about the feeling of being happy to see my colleagues? What percent will be happy to see their colleagues? 62%, 36%, or 8%?
Well, if it's not 62%, then the rest of the survey is flawed. What? So they want to come back to work, but they don't want to see me?
No, they love the human connection. It doesn't mean they're friends. There's a difference between work and friends. The point is, it's still a big percentage. So when you look at polls, and Mike actually sent me the Yahoo poll, I'm like, there's no chance, which inspired this to be quickly put through. And the point is just trying to prevent some sanity, because I don't care what the answer is. For next Thursday, we'll have US, Canada, the UK, and Australia compared. It'll be interesting to see what the US says. Plus, we got a lot of information on what the expectations are every day, 3 days a week, 1 to 2 days a week, or have my choice.
I think that's the big question. Like, how are you going to manage your office? What are you going to say? Flexible?
We built this in 2017. We shrunk our office by 50%. No one has a desk.
Yeah.
We have no idea where you are. We don't care where you are. We want you to work to live. And the fact is, we want people to show up for team meetings or whatever once a week. But after that, whenever you want, whatever makes
you guys were ready for this pre-COVID. You did this 4 years ago.
Yes, people thought I was insane. But the fact is, to attract the best talent, flexibility is crucial. And to be able to be in Jamaica working and being just as productive, assuming they're productive. You have to sit there and watch over people. You've got the wrong people. Don't put policies in place to look over people. Get rid of those people you have to look over. That'd be my comment.
By the way, our producer James is in Barbados, even though you said Jamaica, but I know you really pay attention. And for the record, there's nothing you've said in the last year on Bourbon Street that's proven you're not a little bit off, but we'll deal with that later. Anything else from the data? I guess I was 0 for 5.
Something like that. I think we're done. We're done, aren't we?
All right. I know you're a massive soccer fan. I know
Football.
that football is your favorite sport. So you know what? Euro 2020 kicks off today on June 11th, 2021. Really interesting time. But before we get into it, I want to share with you something amazing that EA Sports did just this week to recognize a horrible tragedy from years gone by and show where marketing is headed.
My name is Kyan Prince, and I am a professional footballer, or at least I would have been, had I not been killed when I was 15. There's 2 stories I want to tell you about my son, Kyan. The first one is about how he lost his life to a young person carrying a knife. But I want to tell you the other story, the more powerful one, about the man he was destined to become.
Everyone used to talk about Kyan, how much of a wonderful talent he was, and he was always destined to play at the top.
Were he alive today, Kyan's hard work, positivity, and his talent would have seen him become one of the stars of the game.
What a goal by Kyan Prince!
Now I understand not everyone's got what it takes to become a pro baller, but everyone's got something that they're good at. So stand tall, stand strong, and let that be your story. Your only story. See the man Kyan was destined to become.
Kyan Prince! How about that?
Find him in FIFA as the face of JD, in match attacks, and on the team sheet at QPR.
Horrific story, 15 years old, soccer prodigy, protecting a schoolmate from bullying, bringing awareness to senseless violence caused by knives. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how they turn that negative into a positive. And the most interesting thing, not to minimize what happened, obviously, was the fact of how innovation and technology with the combination of human makes it so different. Like the fact is how'd you, seeing that, what sort of things does it stimulate for your clients to go, what could they do? When you see that, you can almost make anything possible, if you know what I mean.
I completely agree. And I understand, as you're struggling with saying, how do you take this? We're trying to not downplay the tragedy. But it is unbelievable. And to think, to your point, and the bedrock to all this is the emotion, right? His father, the emotion, the power. You and I are fathers, the power of him coming to grips with the pain, but to fight on, keep his son's name, and then for EA to be able to bring his son almost to life, virtually to life. You think back to the Tupac hologram concert a few years ago. It didn't have, people sort of joke about that. This has emotion and power.
And they tied it into the donation aspect of it, which is obviously big in Britain, or big across the EU, where it's not quite as big here. So you look at the combination of that. I mean, it's like a small brand could do something like that. A big brand can do something like that. It's not it's just like only EA could do it. It's like EA's not Apple, but the fact is they put a bunch of things together and humanize it with emotion. And that's the interesting thing I think that's coming out of COVID, with George Floyd, with all the other, with the indigenous people out west. It's like, it's an amazing human connection throughout so are you watching the Euros?
I am. And I know your favorite social media app is what? What is it?
I don't have one.
Okay. Well, I want you to take a look at this, because I'm pretty convinced your favorite sport is football and your favorite app is TikTok. Name the band.
New Order.
Name the song.
How Does It Feel?
Close. Blue Monday. Which is kind of ironic since we talked about back to work and people, all the songs written about Monday. But
I got a lot of thoughts on TikTok.
Okay.
So the point is, been a lot of your conferences and people talk about elevating the experience. My question is, how is that elevating the experience from your perspective?
Well, I'm going to ask you this question. Who is gaining in the relationship between TikTok and Euros, and who is leveraging off who?
TikTok gets all the gain. Euros is, it's a household. They're watching everywhere. They did not need TikTok to make it a massive sport event. So the fact is, in my opinion, TikTok gets all the benefit, all the leverage to get more people engaged. And they're obviously competing against all the other social media channels. So TikTok's doing the good job and Euros are getting paid for it.
Right. You're bang on. So you think about it, your TikTok, a year ago, probably you're the scourge of Donald Trump. People are, TikTok's following me around. Parents are like, what's this TikTok thing? When you think about the rusty linings, as I call them, from COVID, and you reference the 215, the remains of the children in Kamloops, these things are horrible, but hopefully, because of George Floyd, we're seeing some social justice progress. Hopefully because of 215, we'll see, more support for Indigenous. TikTok, quite frankly, probably if you ask them privately, would say that the pandemic benefited them, right?
Massively.
Massively.
And if you look at it, I don't know about you, but how many times, like for every one conversation I have about Snapchat,
yeah,
I have 100 about TikTok.
Agreed.
And I was going to say, do you find any difference?
I'm addicted to TikTok. I can sit there. You can literally scroll through that thing forever, where Snap, different way. But back to your question to me. So I agree with you. Like TikTok wants to be culturally relevant in Europe, tie in with the UEFA, makes a ton of sense. Totally get it. Your question to me though was how is TikTok adding value to the experience for the fans? And I think the reality of Euro is you've got places like Italy's playing, I think Turkey today, you've got 25% fans. Italy's stadiums are going to be full. You've got to have a negative COVID test. You've got to have proof of vaccine. Germany, I think no fans. I assume England, because they've been way ahead, are going to have fans. So it's I think for some fans, the value is this is a way for you to connect and socialize on something you love, where you're not going to be allowed to necessarily go into the stadium or into the street or watch at a bar.
Yeah, if they're actually engaging the people, the real fans, then that's fantastic. They're making a huge benefit. They are socially relevant. From my one person's perspective, they're relevant all the time. Snapchat's losing its case. Facebook, Instagram, they're going to catch up. It's going to be a boom for the properties because they're going to ask for more money. Well,
here's my only advice for you. Given that we've got James, our producer, in the background, who's big football fan, he wants you to go and get a beer today and watch the Italy-Turkey game. Yes?
I will do that.
Awesome. So hey, let's flip over now to the last call, because today, to close out Bourbon Street, we want to make sure that we have you seated to watch a closing video we have. We're going with a bit of a long one today, 5 minutes. But, interesting in the burger world, everyone's moving to chicken, right? Popeyes, chicken. Everyone's taking on Chick-fil-A. I don't know if you saw this, where Burger King is kind of taking some shots at Chick-fil-A.
On June 3rd, Burger King made a cheeky tweet saying it will donate up to $250,000 of the proceeds from its new premium chicken sandwich, the Chick King, to LGBTQ+ advocacy organization, the Human Rights Campaign. The company emphasized that the Chick King is available on Sunday, taking a jab at Chick-fil-A, which is closed on Sunday in accordance with an interpretation of Christian teachings. Chick-fil-A is a chicken-themed eatery that exclusively serves chicken-based meals. Before 2012, the fast food restaurant regularly donated to anti-LGBTQ+ groups.
I will say Burger King is one of the most progressive marketers. They come up with some very interesting campaigns when they use they let independent restaurants take over the Instagram account, or said just buy burgers because we don't care what kind of burgers. So they're very progressive, and they are taking on social causes. So I personally love the fact that brands are fighting or are poking other brands where they see them, not denigrating them, but going, you know what, this is not right. So the point is, I mean, I applaud them for doing something like that.
Okay, so we're going to get back to that. And I want to ask you I'm going to put you on the spot here. So this is the second time Burger King has launched a chicken product. I think the last time it was called, like, I don't know, it might have even been the Chicken Whopper or the Chicken something. What do you think of the name, the Chicken?
Not much, to be frank.
I said I was putting you in the spot. Yeah. Expand on that.
So it's with Burger King, I guess it is. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make me want to go out and buy it. But then again, Burger King, I haven't eaten that in 5 years anyway. So I don't think I'm the target audience. But as a marketer, I don't know. I think you can do better.
Do you eat burgers?
Yes.
Do you make burgers at home?
Yes.
Would you make a chicken burger?
Yes.
Okay. So it's pretty interesting. We're going to get back to this. One of the things that Burger King did to launch is that if you order a Whopper in June off their website, you get a free chicken coupon. So they're actually interesting to me why it's sort of like, Coke saying for every Coke you buy, we're going to give you a Sprite coupon. They're kind of cannibalizing their own. What do you think of that?
I think, well, if you look at Molson Canadian Coors Light back, when they did the Get Together pack, Molson did the greatest job of devaluing their lead brand Canadian by putting them together. And
is that sarcasm I'm listening to when you say that?
Total, no sarcasm there at all. They took the Molson Canadian most often drinkers and got them to drink Coors Light over and over again, and the infrequent ones, and people like the Coors Light. And you could have seen that from the States, and they actually ended up devaluing Molson Canadian by switching people over to Coors Light. And thinking about that, they made way better margins on Molson Canadian than they did on Coors Light licensing deal. So in hindsight, I think so the same thing here is if they're going against their most profitable product, I would highly recommend against it by just studying history. It's a bad decision.
Okay, so now let's circle back. We're in this era of purpose, somewhat cancel culture, brands standing up for things. How do you feel about one company calling out another? Burger King calling out.
I think it's, I don't know if it's for a challenger brand, I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
I truly think you have to be aggressive to be noticed. And if you're actually empowering people, it's going to be polarizing because the Christian right is going to not go there. Right. And is the Christian right bigger than, and it's for profit, but they want to stand for something. So I think they put standing for something ahead of short-term profits to go, this is what we need to go after because they're going to eat our lunch. So again, if I was a lead brand, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't need to do it. But if I'm a challenger brand, I think it's great they're going after people.
So flipping things back to north of the border here, we're talking about patios have opened up. Kudos to Queen Street Bakery doing a pretty cool program. I know you've seen this. I'm sure you love it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you buy a burger and for $2 and they give a burger away for someone in need. That's special. I mean, to launch it up, it's a pop-up. The fact is doing good things for those in need will be I don't know why it took the pandemic to figure out how important that was. And maybe it didn't, but again, we're not as charitable as we'd like to act like we are. And the fact is brands doing this and taking the advantage of that I think is fantastic.
Kudos to the President Tony Ayala. 500,000 Torontonians, 1 in 5 are food insecure. Let that sink in for a minute.
100%. I grew up in York Region and fairly affluent area, and there's I always reminded people there's 100,000 people who need the food bank in our area. I mean, it's massive numbers.
So, Don, have a good weekend. Enjoy the patio. Urge people to go to Queen Street Bakery, sign up, support somebody.
Absolutely. Have a good weekend.
I will. I'm now living down in Little Italy, although I'm not supposed to say that because I'm trying to sell my house. So my wife and my agent are now freaking out. But I'm excited for today's match between Italy and Turkey.
Excellent.
The last call closing video today actually talks about a really unique approach to organ transplants. Found this from Argentina. So take the next 4 minutes before your lunch pay close attention. This is a really interesting piece of content. See you, Don.
Hola. Hola.
¿Qué tal? Ana,
Sí.
¿te molesta la música?
No.
Permiso. Hola, hola Santi. Parece que la espera valió la pena. Después de 3 meses encontramos un corazón compatible con el tuyo.